we're going to find an inverse. We'll start off nice and easy. Because this is an example I just gave you, the year, if you didn't notice it by the way, we're going to give this a go and I'll show you how to find the inverse. It's really simple. Okay? What you do is you start by writing down the values, the coefficients, whatever they represent. Okay? Now this is a matrix. What we're going to do is we're going to augment it. Do you remember what augmenting is? It's when you put two matrices and you just jam them together so you can do the same set of operations to both. I'm going to augment it with its corresponding identity matrix. Okay, so I'm going to slap it next to this guy. And now this is my augmented matrix. Okay? Now my goal is I want to do operations to this thing such that the identity matrix comes up over here instead of over here. Right? So I'm going to do operations to the whole 2x4 matrix, and what I want to end up with is with 1, 0, 0, 1 on this side, and there's going to be something else on this side. That's something else. That's going to be the inverse. Okay?
Because I did it, it inverses it, the other one.
Okay, so let's give this a go, shall we? Here's our goal. We want to turn this into 1, 0, 0, 1. Okay? There's an easy first step. Think about it. What would you do? You should take the first row and you should divide by 2. That'll make that a 1. Right? So if that's going to become a 1, that's going to become a 0. Right? But you've got this row, this whole row is being divided by 2. So that should become a half. Okay? And 0 divided by 2 is still 0. Okay? Now, even though I could do this, well, actually, yeah, you know what? I'm just going to do it in 2 steps because it's relatively simple. All right, now I want to work on this row, so what would you suggest that I do? I should do row 2, take away row 1, and that'll knock out this guy, right? So it's going to become 1, 0, half, 0. Let's see here. That'll become 0. That's still a 4. This will become, negative a half, and 1 minus 0, that's still 1. Okay, so far so good. I've only done one elementary row operation time, so hopefully, even if you miss it, you can still go back and see I'm only making one change. I only need to do one more step, right? I should divide. So this part's set. I now have the identity matrix there. Okay, that first row is already done, and this should become negative 8, a quarter. Okay, so what's happened? If I call this guy up here, if I call this A, what you have ended up with on this side, that's the inverse of A. Okay, and you can test it out. Because if I multiply these two matrices together, I ought to come back to the identity matrix. Right?
What's happening on the third one?
From here to here,
Yeah.
row 2 minus row 1. This one is row 1 divided by 2. And then this one is row 2 divided by 4. Let's try it out. Let's multiply that. Let's see what happens. I am now going to multiply A by A inverse. Okay? So that should be 2014 times, okay, all of these awkward fractions. They're not so bad, as you'll see in a second. Okay, let's give it a go. Just like before, rows, then columns. Rows, then columns. Watch. I'm going to do all of the numbers. I'm going to write them all out. I'll show you all the dot products so you don't lose track, okay? Row 2 times a half. Yeah? Plus, what? 0 times negative an eighth. Is that okay? Ooh, how convenient. Right? Okay, that was one dot product. I'll move over to the right. 2 times 0. Plus 0 times a quarter. Very good. Huh. Okay. Move down a row. Okay, I've got a 1 and a 4 that I'm going to match up to these guys. Okay. 1 times a half plus 4 times negative an eighth. That's a half. That's negative a half. Last dot product. Okay. Same row. Down here. 1 by 0. 4 by a quarter. Ah, snap. It worked, didn't it? And that's how you know whether you got the inverse or not.